purpose of this interview is to know how you guys met, and the kind of the history behind my family, and I have made it a point to say that I have two sets of parents, so that's why I have a full, well, all three of you guys. So, first question is so the first couple that met were you guys, right?
Yes.
You and my mom, you and my dad. So how did you guys meet?
We met in middle school.
How did you guys become a couple?
Well, we met for the first time in history class. He was late to history class.
Well, actually, we met in English class.
No.
We started talking.
No, we
Oh, the
met-
first time you saw me.
Yeah, the first time I
Oh.
saw him,
Okay.
Was it love at first sight?
he caught my attention because he was wearing mismatched shoes, a leather jacket, crazy hair, plus he was late to his first period class, which was his homeroom.
Yeah.
So it was my first period, history was my first period, so that was his
So
homeroom and first period.
Yeah, I had the same teacher just for homeroom and first period.
So he never made it to homeroom and he was late to his first period. And so he made a grand entrance because he was late, so he caught my attention. So from there on, you know.
I figure better late than sorry.
So from that moment, he just kind of caught my attention, and we would flirt with each other at some point in other classes we had. And then I kind of stalked him and got a hold of his phone number.
She used to work in the.
But he would flirt
She had
with me.
she had an elective in the attendance office, and she went against the rules and got my phone number, my private information. Yeah.
It was a big HIPAA violation, but back
HIPAA
then
violation?
there was no HIPAA, yeah.
But not only that, she got the phone number, and it wasn't her who called me. It was her sister.
I was too shy to call him, so I had her call him and tell him that I liked him.
I was the victim of this.
You were a victim
She was.
of this.
She was with us from the beginning. Yes,
It was a trio.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hang out
because
together.
sometimes he would walk me to home from school, and she would be there, and she'd be upset because I would take forever in saying goodbye.
So
Oh. It could.
Why
is
you
it,
have
is it still cold?
It should be.
Why you have it so far?
So I could get it ready.
Oh, okay.
So seeing that you were there from the beginning, how did you think they were gonna last?
No, I never imagined. I just thought it was one of those summer flings or something like that. Just, at that age, you can't imagine that they're gonna take someone serious for long term.
So how did you introduce him to my grandpa?
Well, he kind of introduced himself one time. He called me and got me in trouble because I wasn't supposed to get calls from boys, and so that's how he knew about him. But I don't think I never like officially introduced him until I had moved in with your dad, and then at some point.
You know she skipped a lot between moving in and meeting.
Well, yeah, because that was you never met my dad.
No, but you skipped the whole running away and then the whole.
Well, I didn't know.
Well, you moved in with him at what age?
Well, at some point, so my dad was totally against the relationship, and so that I was really upset about that, and so somehow I managed to leave my house with my dad and my sister, and I moved in with him I was about 15. His mom agreed that we lived together at that time.
Didn't go that smoothly.
It wasn't that smoothly because I think,
It was the second try that went smoothly.
yeah,
The
The
first
second
time, the first time she went to my fat, and my mom's like, my mom was like, nah. So
We were
she
too young.
called, so the cops came and picked her up and
Oh,
took her
yeah.
back to
That's right.
to her pad and everything, and then we were the way we were, so we decided to split, and we split.
Then
and
we ran away
we
together.
ran away.
First I
we
ran
kicked
away.
we kicked us places, and then we ended up at Carlos's pad, and then his parents called my mom, and then my mom said, well, you know what, just come home. So that's when she just wanted us home because she didn't want us in the street. So she accepted both of us. She came to the conclusion that either way we're gonna
Find a way to be
find a
together.
way.
So yeah, we did run away together. I
Mhm.
forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
How romantic.
So
At the time.
so yeah, and then and then that's when we started living together.
There was a time where you guys did break up though.
Yes, I think we lived together for a year.
Mm-hmm.
We were kids because we were 15, and I think I think we lived for a year, and then we were fighting, and it was just, and then his mom went to El Salvador, and then like she kind of knew that things weren't well, and before she left, I remember her saying, whatever happens, don't leave, I'll be back, don't do anything, don't do anything dumb. If you guys are having problems, just wait for me and we'll figure it out, because by then I had lived with her for a whole year. She took me in as a daughter, and so she kind of saw me that way, I guess. And so yeah, but sure enough, when she left, we were fighting too much, and she wasn't around to, like, I don't know, intervene.
Mm-hmm.
And so I left. I was like, I can't take this anymore, and I left his house. And then that's when I moved to Canada for a year, because I was bummed about not being with him, but we were just fighting too much, and so I moved to Canada for a whole year.
During the time that she was away, were you just with my grandpa?
Yes, I stayed, I was still young. I was 2 years younger, so I must have been around 15. She was 15, I was 15, and yeah, I stayed home. It was a big change to not having her around. It was kind of quiet. So I started reading a lot. I would read a lot day and night. That was like my new hobby. Yes.
So when she came back, the story I know is that she took you with her to find a job with my grandma.
So when I came back from Canada, I moved in back with my dad, and my sister was there too, and it seemed to me like he saw us as adults, I guess, because I had already run away from home, and here I was coming back. So he kind of gave us like an ultimatum, like, you gotta grow up and move on if you want to, do your own thing. If not, he kind of like pushed us kind of into to grow up and be on our own. So at that point, I realized I needed a job, and I went to his mom's, because she would take me to her job that, when I used to live with them before I left, and so I knew she can help me get a job. So I looked to their house. My sister went with me that time, and so after a year, after coming back from Canada, that was the first time seeing them again.
So was that the first time that you met my tío, or was it
No,
before?
I knew about him. I had been over to their house a few times, and yeah, I've seen them hanging out either in the front porch or in the back with her. He had a dog at that time, but after that year had passed, I was more closer to 15, 16, and I came with Jenny to find her find my mother-in-law, and I remember Miguel was fixing a car underneath a car, and I just remember him pulling himself out of the car, and he said, "Oh my God, you're Jenny's sister! I can't believe it! How are you?" And he would just straight look at me and talk to me, and I kept saying, "Well, this is Jenny next to me." She had changed a lot. Her hair was curly and long, and she looked very different than the way she looked when she had left. Her hair was straight and short, and she wouldn't wear that much makeup, and when she came back, she had a little more extra makeup on her. So he didn't
And extra
recognize her.
pants too.
And he didn't recognize her off the bat. But yeah, that's the first time we talked with Miguel. Yeah.
After that, how did you guys become a friendship or a couple?
I was living with a friend during that time, like roommates, and things hadn't turned out that great with her. I was working, and I think she wanted me to be hanging out with her more, and we weren't partying as much because I actually had a job, and so it just, our friendship would kind of went aside, our own separate ways, and I started to realize that I needed to leave. And then my sister said, "Well, come stay with us while you figure things out, if you're gonna go back with Dad or whatever you're gonna plan to do." And I did end up staying with her, well, for what I thought was temporarily. And during the time I was there, my mother-in-law lived in a big house, and that's when Miguel would ask me to go and come with me. I'm running an errand, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and since I wasn't doing anything, I'd oftentimes just go with him. On Fridays, he would pick up Mike, his son, his older son. He would pick him up, and I would go with him to his ex's house to pick up Mikey. And so we would hang out a lot, and we kind of talked a lot along the way of driving, and we would talk on our way back, and we started to realize how much we had in common, how much interest we had in common, how much we valued the same things, how much we wanted a family, how much we had a rough upbringing, and how much we wanted to change that in our future, so that I could see that he was such a wonderful parent, and that really was something that caught my attention. He was a good dad, and he would put his son above everything. So that's kind of the person that I wanted to have a family with. And that's how we ended up getting closer and knowing more about each other. And we started, hanging out a lot more and more.
You and McDeal are 12 years apart. Was that an issue in the family?
Actually, I remember my dad at some point telling me he wanted to marry someone a couple of years earlier, and I remember telling him, "I can't tell you who you need to marry, because when the day comes, I don't want you to tell me who I should marry." So I remember that we had this one very clear conversation, where he had said it mattered to him, my opinion, and we had a heart to heart talk with my dad, and I told him, when the day comes, I don't want your input, I really want you to respect whatever I choose to do when it comes to that. And I just remember that I realized he was in the understanding of what we had talked about, and I think we understood each other about that.
What about my grandma? Susan.
I don't think she was crazy about the idea, because I was a lot younger than he was, and I think she was afraid of me hurting him. He had a previous issue with the person that he had been seeing prior, and it had been something very hard for him to deal with. So I don't think she wanted to see him go through something so difficult again, and so I feel that I respect her in the sense that she wanted to protect him, that she didn't want him to repeat something that would be very detrimental to him or hurting him. So yeah, she didn't appreciate me hanging around with him, for sure.
Was there ever an issue within both of you guys that it was two sisters marrying two brothers?
Many times. Many times.
You think so?
At the beginning, I think so. I think my mother-in-law just didn't like the whole mix. I don't think and neither did my dad. I don't think. A couple of times my dad said, "Out of all the families in the world, why would you go into the same family your sister when?" He would
I guess I never knew that.
yeah, he would make comments like that, and you know.
Having two kids each later, how do you guys feel now that we're all kind of living under the same roof? I mean, it's kind of like the beginning where we started. Well, you guys started off under the same roof, and then we've gone our separate ways, and now come back. How do you guys feel that we kind of did one whole circle?
It feels good, I think. I feel like God put us in this situation. That's been my belief from the beginning. Her and I have always been close. We've always been together, whether it was at her house or our house. We were always hanging out with each other because we were comfortable around each other, because our husbands didn't have any issues with each other or with us hanging out with each other because they were brothers. So,
yeah, towards the later part, I think it worked out great for everyone. We did live about 2 blocks from each other, which made it either dinner at her house or dinner at my house. And oftentimes we would say we should just move in together and save us the trip. So that's how we came up with the idea eventually to find a house together. Originally we were looking for like a duplex or a place that had 2 units. And then we found this place that was big enough for all of us, and we thought maybe temporarily we could settle down here while we keep looking, and that's how we ended up together, which was been great because I feel I've gone through so much, and the support I've received from everyone has been amazing, and I couldn't have done it alone. I've gone through something really tough in my life, and I definitely could not have done it with the love of those around me, for sure.
Do you have anything to comment on that, Don? About the fact that we've gone around
a full circle? Honestly, I up to right now, I didn't even realize that we did a full circle. I mean,
I think we've always been together.
I mean, we always been,
we lived
but-
together in the blue house,
but
and they went separate.
the whole full circle until you just said it. I'm like, oh, that's right. We all did live together for a bit. And we went separate ways, but like Ella says, we were always together. I mean, we would spend in each other's pad really late and leave late. It's just the whole about the pad and the house and everything. It wasn't a secret. I wasn't that crazy about it. Didn't care for it. It was just something that got into my wife's head, and we couldn't get it out. To the point that
He was afraid of commitment.
I just didn't see it. Didn't see the whole
Let's just say that.
Picture.
financial, I didn't see the why. To the point that even when we moved in, that's the next chapter. We moved in and it just caused issues and problems. To the point that we split. That's the second split.
And you guys split up for 2 years while we moved in here. I wasn't gonna say that part of the story, but okay.
Hey, it's part of the story.
It's a very important part of the story.
So yeah, I mean, it got to the point that I just couldn't, being here, I just didn't. It got to a toll that, it just didn't make sense to me.
Well, what makes sense now to you?
That not being with my wife and my daughters was way worse. It's like not being with you guys. It made me think. I'm out of there because a fucking house. I'll deal with it. Honestly, it's like it came to the point that I saw that my girls needed me here. Rebellious sister of yours. And it's just the way that Jenny was without me and I was without her. It just made it being away from each other, made it really clear that that's who I'm supposed to be with. What the stuff that I lack, she gives it. She feels the lack, that emptiness, that everything that I lack, that I fall short, she fills it in. And the same thing goes with her. You know how your mom is and everything, but you know,
That's actually been sweet.
you know, I need to be there because you know there's certain stuff, though some ways that your mom is, that she needs that balance, right? So we both need balance. I mean, without her, I'll be, really not give, just really not have a care in the world. And without me, she will just care about everything too much. Okay, she will you get me? She will just worry about everything so bad, and being together, it's like we balance each other out.
It was a process. It was necessary at the time. We didn't think, that separating was gonna help, because obviously you never want to go through a separation. But it helped us. It helped us understand that life without each other, like we said, wasn't the same. At some point, I think I thought I'd rather be alone than be with this person who we're constantly fighting with. But I realized that was not the case. So I think it was a much needed separation. And in that time, we realized that we needed each other again in our lives. And so
has there ever I was reading through my last question. Have there ever been an issue that I don't know of that where either the brothers fought and you guys had to you guys felt like you needed to stay away from each other, or vice versa? You guys would fight and my dad and my uncle would have to stay away, like you guys felt like you needed to stay away from each other just for to not cause any tension of some sort.
I mean, we've had disagreements, but I think me more than her and I, more than them two.
Yeah, because with Miguel, it's like no matter what happens, I think, I don't want to sound sexist or everything, but when it comes to men and women, guys could have beef or whatever, but we could continue talking to each other. We're cool. It's like, hey, what's up, and that's it. That was it. You squash it there. With women, it's a little bit, different.
Or siblings, I would say.
It's
Women siblings.
Yeah.
It's a little different. I mean, we were more tend to well, I can't speak for my bro, but I tend more to go through whatever situation, whatever thinking, than with my feelings. Perfectly that I don't. People might take it like I don't care, but it's I just don't want to do. I don't want to try to solve something with feelings, because it always ends up bad. It always ends up bad. And that's where I come in sometimes with my baby. Like, relax. Emotions are going everywhere, and we need to use our heads. So for me, that's with my bro. No, we've never actually ever had if we're pissed at each other as dudes, we stay quiet and whatever, but just a beer or two. just like with any of my other brothers. If you guys, I guess,
Another question that I missed was that Reyes and Rico was has the age difference ever been felt a problem for you? Like if you at some point felt like he was too old or vice versa, did he feel like he was too young for him?
I don't know how he's felt about it. I can't answer for him, but I feel like everyone that I ever knew my age, I felt like they were too young for me, or they felt like a brother or a kid, and I couldn't see myself dating someone my age. I always dated someone older than me, and so I never felt that. I felt that we were around the same age. Like, I don't think age has really ever been an issue for me. Like, to say, oh yeah, I don't think so. No.
and us being around you guys, I mean, until she said there was, we never actually ever thought about the differences of their ages. I mean, you know, it was. I've never heard anything that there was a problem with their ages until she just said about her dad. Did you ever hear anything? I mean, I don't think we ever even talked about it.
No.
About the way, it's just, you know,
Do you think it was just something that came naturally about them
that's
being
the way.
together?
That's the way we see it
Yeah.
because, they know who courted who. You know, they know who, how they hook up or whatever. You know, but for us, if we start remembering, thinking about it, they got together naturally, like any other couple. Not like any other couple, because I was stalked. You know, so
A
But-
victim of crime.
so
He is
Victim of HIPAA
HIPAA violation.
HIPAA violation.
But
also I was penny.
I'm not gonna even go there.
yeah, no.
Alright, well that was the end of my interview. Thank you guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you for thinking of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. Both you guys. Both couples are awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
Love
Okay,
you.
we can stop it. The red square.
I have to find a mouse word.